back to Nostalgic Nuggets. Okay, so this week we are going to be talking about something completely different. Today we are going to be doing our very first episode themed around a piece of Nickelodeon childhood. Isn't that right, Mr. Nicktoon Man?
Well, I mean, it's kind of fitting because I am wearing a Nickelodeon shirt here, if you guys can see it.
If any of you guys recognize any of these characters, let us know in the comments below. If you recognize any of those tunes. But we're not talking about Rugrats or Ren and Stimpy and Rocko's Modern Life and stuff like that.
Nope.
Today, we'll be talking about a piece of Nickelodeon lost media. So, Jared, do you remember watching Nick Jr. back in 2004?
Oh, well, definitely, because Colin and I grew up with the golden age of Nick Jr.
I basically watched more of Noggin than Nick Jr., if you ask me.
Yeah, Noggin, Nick Jr.
I know you probably watch shows like Blue's Clues and Rubber Dubbers and Bob the Builder and Maggie and the Ferocious Beast and the then released Max and Ruby.
Yes.
But there is a certain show that was on Nick Jr. that only lasted for 3 episodes.
3?
It was Nick Jr.'s mini-series, and it starred one of the most popular actresses in our time, and that would have to be Whoopi Goldberg. You may have seen her in Sister Act. You may have seen her on The View. You may have seen her many times on Sesame Street. And also, I remember seeing her in It's a Very Merry Muppet Christmas Movie. But today, did you know she had her own show on Nick Jr. called Nick Jr.'s Whoopi's Littleburg?
That name sounds very, very vaguely familiar.
Do you remember watching it when it was on the air?
I think I remember something from it.
Of course, many of you guys who are looking for lost media might remember that there are many videos about Whoopi Goldberg on the internet. And before we started making this video, I asked Jared to rewatch the 2 resurfaced episodes of that show that have been uploaded on YouTube. Why don't we tell people about what Whoopi's Littleburg really was? So, Whoopi Goldberg, who is the star of this show, she is the mayor of a little town called Littleburg, which is basically like a preschool destination because all the inhabitants of Littleburg are puppet barnyard animals like cows, goats, sheep, chickens, and bunnies. Mm-hmm. Basically puppet livestock, and also little kids playing the different people in the neighborhood, like police officers and bus drivers. There were hardly any adults, except for Whoopi and a few guest stars.
Right.
And who was referred to as Mayor Whoopi, helps 2 of the characters, Spencer the pig and Tiger Jane, or TJ the purple cat. In all honesty, we have both rewatched both of those episodes that have been resurfaced on YouTube by media resurfacers. Why don't we talk about those 2 episodes that have resurfaced online?
Well, first of all, of course, the first episode being called, fittingly, Welcome to Littleburg.
And that premiered, at first, prime time on Nickelodeon, and then the next day on the Nick Jr. preschool block in the morning. And I forgot to mention this, the show aired from January 18th to June 7th of 2004. Welcome to Littleburg is about Spencer Piggle and his mom and his little sister Peggy Piggle moving to Littleburg, and Spencer is feeling a bit lonely because he doesn't have any new friends yet. And so, his next-door neighbor, Tiger Jane, or TJ, as we will call throughout the rest of this video, she takes him to go see Mayor Whoopi in City Hall. And there, Mayor Whoopi takes the 2 of them all around Littleburg to help Spencer make a new friend. And they also visit a sock store, basically a musical adventure in a sock store to help find a missing sock who is friends with another sock. This is definitely giving me some Sesame Street feels. Whoopi has made countless appearances on Sesame Street since, I think, 1989.
That is true, yeah.
Yeah, and in the end, while there's a Littleburg parade welcoming Spencer to the neighborhood, Spencer realizes that TJ has been his first friend the whole time, and they all celebrate with chocolate milk. I don't blame you. I really do love to drink a good old-fashioned glass of chocolate milk every now and then.
I'm gonna be completely honest. That ending actually teared me up a little bit because it was so beautiful and it was so heartwarming.
And we should probably talk about the partial episode that has been resurfaced as well. I think it was called Ta-Da Day.
Exactly, yes. It's all about Spencer wanting to do something in honor of that Ta-Da Day. But the problem is, he's thinking so much about what he should do, he gets himself into a little bit of a block, where he gets to a point where he just doesn't know what to do.
And everyone else in Littleburg is busy making banners and coming up with dances, and TJ is making a macaroni painting.
As a total side note from the episode, there was also this little running gag here, where it's just they just go diddy diddy diddy, and then Whoopi's like, okay, and they just it just keeps going.
Now, before we begin, thank you, Otis. All right, Otis, it's enough with the ta-da. No more ta-da for you today.
Sorry.
You gotta have running gags if there's puppets.
Good gosh, that was funny. And in my mind, I'm just like, oh gosh, they're not gonna stop.
Sometimes, in these two episodes, they have rewritten two already in the public domain songs. Particularly in the second episode, they reworked the lyrics of the Macarena to the Macaroni. It is a clever twist on a 90s favorite.
Macaroni.
I imagine that Whoopi Goldberg definitely entertained a lot of preschool children in 2004. You probably don't know this, but Whoopi's Littleburg was actually created by Johnny Belt and Robert Shaw, who would later be known for developing the Nickelodeon preschool series Bubble Guppies. I wouldn't think it's a good idea for you guys to contact those two about any information regarding Whoopi's Littleburg, because they probably forgot that. I don't know if they either forgot about that show or don't want to share any information about it, or probably because they're busy currently working on Bubble Guppies since it's still making new episodes.
Yeah.
And Baby Shark crossover episode,
which I have not watched.
Before those two episodes got resurfaced, I remember seeing a promo for the show that was on a VHS recording of a Nick Jr. commercial break video, which there are like hundreds of those on the internet. And in the theme song, along with a few other songs from the show, have resurfaced on NickJr.com's radio station, where there's songs from all the Nick Jr. shows that had been playing at the time, including Curious Buddies, which we'll talk about.
That's it. That is definitely what I remember from that show.
Wait, you remember hearing the theme song on the Nick Jr. radio show?
Well, not just that one, but but there was a song that's featured in both episodes as well, being The Wheels on the Bus, if you know that song.
Come on, Spencer, sing! The wheels on the bus go round and round, round and round, round and round. The wheels on the bus go round and round, down City Hall.
Talk about blast from the past.
Brain blast from the past, indeed.
What are your opinions about the two resurfaced episodes so far? Like, do you like the music? Do you like the story? Do you like the characters? Do you like the jokes and gags and stuff like that?
Yes. Truthfully, it is a very, very interesting show. Now, I don't remember if I saw the episodes when they first came out, because I was like 3 years old at the time when this happened. Around 3.
And I probably never even heard of the show because I was probably still a very young baby at the time.
Yeah, so I don't recall seeing the episodes when they came out, but I do remember that radio thing, so that's how I know about that show. But I will say, from my point of view, I think those two episodes are really, really good. The puppets designed beautifully, beautiful puppets.
I also forgot to mention that the locations and buildings and all that stuff, along with the puppets, they were designed very beautifully too, so I accidentally slipped that out of my mind again. Whoops.
I think the show was also filmed in Canada because one of the characters, which is a duck, was performed by the same guy who did characters on Nickelodeon's Mr. Meaty and who did in Playhouse Disney's Going to Oz segments.
No way!
Oh, Mayor!
Hi.
Oh, you're just in time. What do you think of the banner?
Pretty amazing, huh? And of course, the third episode has not been resurfaced yet, and we have no idea when it's ever going to get resurfaced, and the entire show would be found. Was there ever a third episode? Or did they just make that whole thing up? Or I'm not really sure. Because
Who
we have
knows?
not even heard or seen anything regarding the third episode of the show, which is also the last episode.
So truthfully, this third episode is more of a mystery than anything.
I also like to shout out Kale Reviews and stuff for uploading the first episode in DVD quality when it premiered in prime time, and Evans Media Archive for uploading the partial or VHS recording of the second episode.
Oh yeah, truthfully, thank you both. Thank you.
You should check those guys out too.
Oh yeah.
And that does leave us to one final question. Will Nick Jr. ever acknowledge the fact that they made a show called Whoopi's Littleburg with Whoopi Goldberg in it? I mean, if they acknowledge the Blue's Clues Blue Prince pilot for the 25th anniversary, they gotta acknowledge that too.
I mean, yeah. I mean, truthfully, like if you guys acknowledge the long lost Blue Prince pilot, which has never been seen in its entirety, by the way, if they can acknowledge that, then why not this?
Do you think that all 3 episodes of the show will be surfaced on Paramount Plus? I mean, they have added Eureka's Castle and other forgotten Nick Jr. and Nickelodeon shows from the past.
Yeah, I mean, if they can do that, then they can probably do it with this.
And with that said, I think that's going to put an end to this episode of Nostalgic Nuggets. Now, we will provide a playlist of every known piece of Whoopi's Littleburg media in a Whoopi's Littleburg themed playlist on our channel, so you can watch the 2 episodes for yourselves, and also see some like promos and art, and the theme song recording from NickJr.com's radio section.
Yep.
And if you guys even know about Whoopi's Littleburg, or even remember watching it on TV when it first came out, be sure to let us know in the comments below.
Please, we would like to know.
If you want to see more Nostalgic Nuggets every 1 or 2 weeks, then be sure to like this video, and again, comment below, and subscribe and hit the bell to be notified when new videos come out every 1 or 2 weeks.
Yep.
And with that said, that's all, folks.